Finally, the content you've been asking for is here, Coupé content. And today, we're gonna restore my suspension. So, before I started vlogging, I already disassembled my front suspension in one piece. Now I have to take off every part from the subframe so I can clean, sand and degrease it. I start off by undoing the front sway bar end links, moving up to the lower sway bar mounts. After that, I can undo the tie rod nuts and hammer away the knuckle to loosen up the tie rod. Then I can remove the lower control arm by taking out the bolts. So I took all the excess parts off. The only thing that's left is my steering rack, which consists of an Integra DC2 pinion, which is lock to lock much faster than the AK one. And then I have the power steering delete kit that I made myself, but I'm going to replace it with some black fittings and make it a bit nicer. So I already had this painted black a few years ago. What I'm going to do now is just going to sand it all off a little bit, clean it off because there's a lot of junk here, or gunk. Clean the underneath as well because there's a little bit of rust, fly rust on it. And then I'm going to use this. So this is kind of the same thing like POR 15, except that this can go into the sunlight because POR is not really that good with sun or UV, and this is paint over rust as well. So what that means is you can just paint over rust if you want to, obviously, but of course you have to clean off all the loose parts and all the rusty bits a little bit. Don't have to sand it all the way down to the metal, but you can paint over it. I'm not really concerned that this is rusty, just a little bit of fly rust underneath, but it gives a nice effect, a nice glossy black effect, so I want to have that, and that's why I'm going to use this. So it's all scuffed up. All the loose parts, the loose paint or the rusty parts, they're all clean now. Degreased everything, and now it's ready for some paint. So we've got to hammer it here. Got it opened up already. And yeah, that's it. Just gonna use regular paintbrush and just apply it very nice and evenly. Don't make it too thick. Might have to go for a second coat, I'm not sure yet. But I'm gonna do this and then come back in 24 hours to check up on it, and I might have to do some touching up, but we'll see. So the first coat is on. I think it's thick enough that I can just leave one coat on. I don't have to put a second one on. Gonna come back tomorrow after work, after about 24 hours of drying. And then after that, yeah, we can do the same thing to the rest of the suspension. See you tomorrow.
Day 2.
That came out very nice, didn't it? If I say so myself. So I do have some small imperfections, but that's okay. You don't see this side. It's the other side that's visible in the engine bay. That's looking good. So I'm just gonna flip it around, do the underside, and then I move it aside, and then I'm gonna clean these guys and then paint them as well. To prep the lower control arms, I apply the same procedure like the subframe, just making sure I don't coat the rubbers with paint. I'm not going to coat the hub assembly yet, because I'm thinking about modding the dust shield and adding ducting to get fresh air to the brakes.
Three days later.
This came out so sick. I like it. I like it a lot. So when I paint the engine bay, it'll be a good addition to the engine bay. It looks nice and clean. So, well, it's not gonna be clean so long because I'm gonna go on track anyway, but that doesn't matter. If you made it this far into the video, just make sure you subscribe. Helps me out a lot. And then, yeah, there's more videos like this to come. So see you next time.